Hello and welcome to Hexed Encountered. I'm Joe. Here today I am going to basically reveal the results of the voting for the August Pick'em that it was an opportunity for you guys, the audience, to kind of let me know from a subset of selected games that I have that have not been played for video yet, to kind of let me know what you would like to see. So those six games were you know, covered in the previous video that went along with the poll. The poll has been running for a couple days, and I figured it was time to shut it down and go with the winner because the winner was pretty clear. And the winner was SPQR from GMT Games, designed by Richard Berg and Mark Herman. Uh, we had kind of a fairly close run for like second and third place. Second place ended up being Hearts and Minds from Compass Games, which is the game I was actually hoping would win because I think that's one that I've been itching to play, and this would give me kind of that push to actually do it. But the audience has spoken, so to speak, so I am ready to just kind of accept that and do the audience's bidding in this case. Now, this may become a periodic thing, maybe even a monthly thing where I'll, throw out five because I know that Google or YouTube rather, which is owned by Google, has a limit of five videos or five poll choices, I should say. So I could give you five choices every month or, whatever it ends up being. It's kind of amorphous at the moment. Beyond that, I hope to get something done with the game in the next couple weeks. I am going to show a first look of it as part of this video. This was something I did a while ago as part of a three-piece first look. But I was looking at it again, and I thought it was worthwhile to include it here. It's relatively short, so it shouldn't take too long to look at. If you're interested, if you've already seen it, or you're not interested at all in seeing it, then that's fine too. It's all up to you. Just putting it out there in case you're interested. So the game I am talking about, of course, that won is this guy right here, SPQR. And again, it is from Mark Herman and Richard Berg. It is part of the Great Battles of History series. This is a chunky game, and there's a lot of game in this box. And I am going to actually also look at this guy with it. This is the simple Great Battles of History, which goes with the game and will allow us to basically have an easier path to playing the game. So this is the second edition of that, and it covers the entire simple Great Battles of History series, which I think has like 10 volumes now, or something along those lines. So look for that in the next couple weeks. Some other things I would like to get done for the channel. We have Solitaire Sunday magazine or midweek magazines. That's gotten off to a pretty good start, I feel like, the magazine show or video. I may or may not do one this week, only because I want to play the games from these. Of the two that I've done so far, I've done one video for a casino from Cities of the Damned. I'm going to follow that up with a part two. The second magazine I did was C3I issue 33, which includes Waterloo Campaign 1815 by Mark Herman. And that's another game that I do want to do for video, so that one will be coming up as well. Probably not as a Solitaire Sunday offering because it's a two-player game. It's not a solo game. It can be played solo, but it is a two-player game. But speaking of Solitaire Sunday, I think the next game after Aachen, which again is Cities of the Damned, the other game in Cities of the Damned, the other game I will probably do, if I can pull it off my pile here, is this guy right here. Save South Vietnam. This is from Fortress Games, and I've heard great things about this. This is a solitaire game, and this will be probably the next Solo Sunday offering following Cities of the Damned. So look for that in 3 weeks or so, I would say. And I'm sitting next to a pile of about 15 games that I don't have shelf space for. So it's kind of sitting on a table, and I'm sitting on the edge of said table right now as I do this. But yeah, that's quite a pile I've got going over there, and I would like to get those done as well. You can see right here, this is SPQR, of course, and it's sitting on top of the Dark Valley. And that's sitting on top of Skies Above the Reich. So got a nice little GMT stack there of 3-inch boxes going beside me here on the table. But, yeah, there's a lot of stuff over there. Air and Armor Berg, I will have videos for that coming up in the next few days as well. So be on the lookout for that. So I'm giving you guys a little channel update in addition to the results here of the voting for our game of the month. And that is going to do it for now. So without further ado, we're going to jump over and check out the first look for SPQR.
Let's take a quick look at the back of the box here. Okay, so it says, for the Roman Republic, the path to military preeminence in the Mediterranean world was neither easy nor direct. The Romans were blessed with a large patriotic pool of citizen soldiers who were the salvation of the country on many occasions. However, they were cursed by a political system that often gave command of armies to inept consuls who were inflexible military leaders. Time after time, the Roman Republic suffered horrific defeats due to these circumstances, but survived, learned to adapt, and ultimately perfected the most capable and powerful army of the age. Explore the evolution of the Roman military system from the early battles against the brilliant but chaotic Pyrrhus of Epirus, then against Hannibal of Carthage, one of the great captains of history in some of the major battles of the Second Punic War. The original SPQR game contained 5 classic ancient battles. Deluxe SPQR contains those 5: Cynocephalae, Zama, Cannae, Bagradas Plains, and Beneventum, plus 9 more battles. Most of the new SPQR battles come from long out of print SPQR game modules Pyrrhic Victory, Consul for Rome, Africanus, War Elephant, Jugurtha, and from C3I magazine. Step back into the pages of ancient history. You have been elected consul for Rome. Take command of your Roman legions, lead them to victory, and see if you can return to Rome, leading a triumphal procession. And remember, all glory is fleeting. And at the bottom, you see here it says SPQR is an acronym for Senatus Populusque Romanus, the Senate and the Roman people. Okay, so looking in here, right, we see we've got actually a list of the Great Battles of History series, of which this is the second entry. Julius Caesar and Conquest of Gaul, I believe, are the two that are combined in the Great Battles of Julius Caesar Deluxe Edition that we'll be looking at here in a little bit. So just kind of looking at our game contents over here on this side, we do see we've got 5 full-color counter sheets, 5 double-sided maps, a rule booklet, 2 scenario booklets, player aid cards, and 1 10-sided die. Newly added, we have a barbarian counter sheet, barbarian double-sided map, and barbarian scenario booklet. On our complexity, we're looking at a 6, and our solitaire suitability, we're looking at a 9. Those are on a 7, sorry. Those are on the 1 to 9 scale. Game designers, as mentioned before, were Richard Berg and Mark Herman. Developer was Alan Ray, art director Roger McGowan, production coordinator Tony Curtis, and our executive producers Tony Curtis, Roger McGowan, Andy Lewis, Gene Billingsley, and Mark Simonich. All right, so let's take a look and see what we've got inside the box. Okay, so baggies, always useful, especially when you've got a ton of counter sheets like this game does. Here's our 10-sided die. All right, so here's the Barbarian booklet. And you can see it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 battles. Lautulae, Tifernum, Sentinum, Telamon, and Cremona. The times range from 315 BC to 200 BC. Get a kind of a standard look here. You get your deployment. This would be Lautulae, rather. I'm sure I'm butchering some of these names, but apologies for that. And you also have to deal with my accent. Sorry, as always. Now we've got our SPQR Deluxe Scenario Pack. This one has, looks like 9 scenarios. 1, 2, 3, 6, 9. Yep. Heraclea, Asculum, Trebia, Baecula, Metaurus, Lipa, Great Plains, Magnesia, and the Muthul River, ranging from 280 BC to 109 BC. And we've got another scenario booklet for the 4th edition. This previous one was 2nd edition. This has 5 more: Beneventum, Bagradus Plains, Cannae, Zama, and Cynocephalae, ranging from 275 BC all the way up to 197 BC. Here's our rule book. So 39 pages it looks like, approximately. Not counting, well, 38, not counting your index. So the great battles of history are probably medium to slightly heavier than medium complexity. Here are our maps. So we can take a look at one of the maps here. So the maps are double-sided typically, which lets you get a little bit extra, saves you some material cost, obviously, if you're GMT Games. Here we have Beneventum, as you can see. On the other side of this one is Zama. This is a pretty plain battlefield. We have a little bit of river up top, a road, and a whole lot of open space on which to do battle. So obviously in a game like this, you're going to have a lot of maps. So that's 2 maps. Then we have the Cannae map, and backside of Cannae. We can open up Cannae, I guess. So here's the Cannae map, which again is pretty much an open plain. You can see the city of Cannae is here on the side. And the other side of Cannae has Cynocephalae from 197 BC. This one obviously has some hills. You have a ridge basically of peaks here in the middle. So that would be 4 different maps so far and counting. Now we also have map for Metaurus on one side. So that's going to be 6 maps here. I'm not going to open all of these up. We have Heraclea, 8 maps, 10 maps, 12 maps. So you got 12 maps. You've got player aid cards, 2 of them. So here on this one, we'd see we've got you've got your class of spears and swords, shock superiority, shock combat results. On the front, we've got a movement cost chart. The die roll of doom, I like this, that's nice. The rally table, elephant rampage table. And on the back, we have stacking charts, voluntary movement, route retreat movement, etc. We have 2 of these that are identical. Then we have a second player aid card, also 2 copies. Front contains the cohesion hits. You got automatic, TQ and special checks, summary of orders and line commands, command summary chart, missile range and results chart, Roman camp terrain effects. And on the back, leadership checks and leadership casualties. Some Roger McGowan goodness here at the bottom. And now we have a game turn track with the sequence of play. Sequence of play is leader activation phase, orders phase, which has movement and missile fire and shock combat segments. The momentum phase, or return to A, which would be leader activation. Route and reload and withdrawal phase. Nothing on the back of that. And here are our counters. So we have 5 full sheets of counters plus the barbarian counters, which is a half sheet. As you can see, this says sheet number 6. It's a half sheet. They're all 2-sided. And you can see you've got some Romans up here. At least I think these are Romans. And then you have various barbarians. Very nice. They're the smaller counters, as you would expect. And we've got counter sheet 1 here. There's Hannibal. Get some double width counters, Macedon. Counter sheet 2. Scipio, Varro, Pallius, Regulus. So you have some Roman leaders on this one. Very colorful. You can see the detail of the artwork is very nice on these counters. We have some markers here. This is sheet number 3. So we have markers. Then sheet 4 comes with the scenario pack. So again, we have some additional Roman leaders here. Lucius Cornelius Scipio, Emilius, etc. Domitius. And then we have sheet number 5. So you have your Seleucid, double width, some African, Epirus or Pyrrhus, and some more counters here at the bottom for missiles being low, route march, etc. Athenians here. So that is SPQR.